Hello, everyone. Welcome to our long-anticipated public celebration of 70 years of service by Mission Haven. My name is Carol Copeland. I'm the president of the Board of Trustees of Mission Haven for 2021. Back in January, a planning committee was formed to plan a virtual garden party. This planning committee included Bonnie Blair, Martha Ann Hogarth, Bly Jones, Elaine Weigert, and Sandra Winslet. We were ably assisted and kept on track by Kelly Wyrick. Today, we proudly present to you gardens from the 7 states in the Southeast represented on the Mission Haven Board of Trustees. Kentucky is our newest state in the group, and we are celebrating Kentucky with our garden hats. After all, the Derby and Run for the Roses will be next week. We invite you to look around your Zoom boxes and enjoy greeting each other and commenting through chat. Please pour yourself a glass of lemonade, a cup of tea, and enjoy the gardens of 7 states. I would like now to introduce you to Alice Day, our executive director, who serves Mission Haven with the grace and beauty of a flower, who will officially welcome you.
Welcome to Mission Haven in the heart of Decatur. Our 8-member management team is an all-volunteer group representing 4 local Presbyterian churches. We care for the extensive grounds, the clothes closet, renovations and repairs, communication with the larger community that supports Mission Haven, scheduling of residents, bookkeeping, and all the other facets of managing 6 apartments and 3 houses. Your donations go directly toward the upkeep of our homes. We recently completed the renovation of 2 bathrooms in one of our houses. We thought it was time after 57 years. Your continued support of the Mission co-workers is appreciated more than you know. The welcome home sign is always out, with beds made and the refrigerators stocked with breakfast items upon arrival. It is truly a quiet respite for all. I thank all of you so very much.
Before moving to the gardens, I want to let you know that there will be credits and opportunities for donations at the end. I also was planning to give special credit to Sandra Winslet of Pensacola, who's made the original suggestion for a garden party celebration. Sandra told me that the idea actually came from a fellow church member in Pensacola, Florida. Sadly, her friend and ours, Annette Miller, died in her sleep on April the 8th, joining the great cloud of witnesses. We honor her passing with these gardens. Now then, Nancy Tankersley, who is the Kentucky State Representative on our board, who is from Hopkinsville, will present Kentucky's Gardens.
Welcome to the gardens from 3 areas of Kentucky. We start in Bowling Green, where this private garden was begun in the 1980s as an 1.5 acres of brush and trees. The first garden was for vegetables grown to feed the family. Through the years, the garden has been developed into a place that reflects God's magnificent creation, bringing quiet, peace, and solitude to one's soul. Looking at the many plants shared with them by friends, they can recall each of those friends with joy. Looking at a 25-foot tree that began as a 12-inch twig, a reminder of the awesome world God has given us. Like Bowling Green, Hopkinsville is in the Presbytery of Western Kentucky. The hope of spring is everywhere in bloom. It is a beautiful time of year to drive through the city and admire God's loveliness in the trees and flowers. Gardeners share the bounty of their gardens with family and friends. Many of these garden owners not only spend time in their own gardens, but also work to beautify garden spots throughout the community. What a gift to have an arrangement decorate the church on a Sunday morning, or have an arrangement brought to brighten the day of a shut-in. Berea, Kentucky, in Transylvania Presbytery is home to Berea College. Founded in 1855 by a Presbyterian minister, it was the first integrated coeducational college in the South. On the southern edge of the Bluegrass and the northern edge of the Cumberland Plateau, the area provides a variety of landscapes. Whitehall Mansion in Louisville is Mid-Kentucky Presbytery was built in the mid-1800s, and through the years the house and gardens were expanded. Opened to the public in 1992, there are 4 distinct gardens with a sampling pictured here. The Arboretum features a diverse collection of trees, while the Woodland Fern Garden has hundreds of species, and the more formal Florentine Garden is divided into rooms created by hedgerows and features stunning color from early spring through mid-October. The Peony Garden has over 60 varieties, with a festival held annually in early May. Come for a visit to Whitehall Mansion.
Bonnie Blair is one of the busiest women I know. She is Tennessee's state representative on the board and brings to you today the gardens of Tennessee.
I will be presenting 2 gardens in Tennessee. First is Schilling Farms. It's a 443-acre development in Collierville, Tennessee, where I live. The development has extensive research, meticulous planning, and standards, which led to the state-of-the-art mixed-use development. It's known for its cherry blossom trees in the springtime. The neighborhood has a white picket fence around the entire border. Those are the cherry blossom trees. Next is the Cheapwood Estate and Gardens in Nashville. It's a 55-acre historic estate on the western edge of Nashville. It was formerly the residence of the Cheap family. The mansion is 30,000 square feet. The Botanical Gardens and Art Museum opened in 1960. The museum caters to weddings. They seat as many as 300 guests for dinners at those weddings. Cheekwood is one of Nashville's most sought after, elegant wedding venues. It takes 2 hours to walk through Cheekwood.
Mary Beth Sharman is Mississippi's representative on our board and has the unique history of having once lived at Mission Haven when she and husband Bob and family returned from service abroad. Here is Mary Beth from Mississippi.
Welcome to Mississippi. The Magnolia State, the Hospitality State, welcome also to the Mississippi Delta, known as the land of the Delta Blues. Your tour today will wind through the gardens of 2 Presbyterian women and the Greenville Cypress Preserve, all located within a few miles of the mighty Mississippi River. Blooms from the first garden belong to Margaret Baird of First Presbyterian Church in Greenville. Margaret has served this congregation in many ways, including elder, deacon, and PW moderator. Margaret's talents are shared through leadership of the Flower Committee. Enjoy the magnificent colors of God's creative hand through Margaret's garden. Mary Boatler is a lifelong Presbyterian. Her great-grandmother and her grandmother were charter members of her church, Leland Presbyterian. Mary's garden is found in her family home, which once belonged to her grandmother. She has faithfully served as a Sunday school teacher, an elder, a circle Bible teacher, and PW moderator. Mary's garden is included in the Smithsonian's Archives of American Gardens and was featured in Southern Living for the beautiful hydrangeas lovingly grown by her and her late husband. The Greenville Cypress Preserve is a 16-acre tract of land which includes 3 stands of bald cypress trees in sloughs, also known as wetlands. Bald cypress trees, native to the southeastern United States, grow in both wetlands and woodlands. They are given the name bald because their leaves are shed each year in the fall. These magnificent trees can reach heights of 100 to 150 feet. In addition to these towering trees, you'll see native wildflowers throughout your journey along the preserve's trail.
Emily Clem from my home church in Athens, Alabama, is filling in for Alabama State Rep Edgar Fallon, whose grandbaby was born on April the 8th, necessitating a grandmother trip to Florida for her. Speaking of grandmothers, have all of you seen the title of next year's Horizon Bible Study? Now I want to introduce to you Emily Clem, who brings us Alabama.
It sweeps through the Little River Canyon under the wings of a red-tailed hawk. It kicks up the sand in Gulf shores with a spray of sea and salt. Tastes like a peach, feels like cotton, it's strong as a long-leaf pine. With a scent of white magnolias and red muscadines, and on a sky blue day, its kiss is soft and sweet. There's nothing like the feeling of an Alabama breeze. Nothing like the feeling of an Alabama breeze. It rolls.
I would like to share with you my own little corner of Alabama, where the breeze blows on a community of plants that are native to this land. Start with trees. My mother-lode oak is the most massive plant in this garden and home to its own plethora of codependent living things. The joyful blooms of the dogwood glow in its understory. The river birches hide many insects in the peeling bark, and the birds know this. The serviceberry blossoms will mature into berries, and the birds know this too. Native azaleas make a splash in early spring. The Florida flames and the rhododendron alabamensis among them. More spring flowers, the dwarf wood iris, the Solomon seal, the phlox, the green and gold. A small leaf viburnum, Stokes aster, columbine. It's good to know the names of the things you care about. Responding to the warm temperature, maidenhair fern grows in the wet spot by the water hydrant. Florida anise has a special shade of crimson that pops with its green leaves. A blueberry bush is so lovely in the spring with the rosy flowers. Food for the bees now, berries for birds and people later. Summertime, yarrow, black-eyed Susan, and passion flower that looks like it belongs on an exotic island, but it's the host plant for the common Gulf fritillary butterflies. Insects, the little things that rule the world. Check out the pollen load on the honeybee legs, and check out the legs on the grasshopper. The beetle is attracted to the mountain mint, and the bumblebee is coming in for a landing on its sunflower target. The hawk moth is sometimes mistaken for a hummingbird. Growing native plants requires a paradigm shift to encourage insects. They are an absolute requirement of the balanced ecosystem, anchoring the food chain, performing the job of pollination, and helping with decomposition. What is just above the insects on that food chain? The goldfinch, the rose-breasted grosbeaks, the indigo buntings, cardinals, And bluebirds, what are the bluebird chicks going to need? Caterpillars, thousands of caterpillars. The parents will find them on the oak tree, on the river birch, on the passion flower vine. Native insects have spent many years matching up with native plants. The monarch caterpillars match up with butterfly weed, a species of milkweed. The life cycle starts in early spring when the flowers bloom, then the horn-like pods form. They dry out and the seeds are easily taken by the wind to the wide, wide world. The beautiful butterflies are part of this ecosystem, this circle of life. I like to think my little corner of Alabama successfully supports the natural interaction of God's creation, heaven on earth. Our church garden. The courtyard of our church has been the site of wedding receptions, Easter egg hunts, and quiet lunchtime visits. I remember a particular group of sixth grade girls who were the host of angels in the outdoor Christmas pageant. They were arranged on a stepladder. Not a great idea. They giggled, pinched, and pushed their way through the Christmas story. Usually, it's the shepherds you have to watch out for. But this garden has a very real sense of place on the square across from the courthouse. The congregation uses serving on the square as a part of the letterhead. Even in the serenity of the garden, the hustle and bustle of life is not far away.
Elaine Weigert has been our tech assistant and Zoom host during our planning. She is a native of South Carolina and worked with their state representative, Linda Jackson, to provide photos of their incredible gardens. Here's South Carolina.
The gardens from South Carolina are from the coast and the mountains. Brook Green Gardens is a 9,100-acre sculpture garden and wildlife preserve in Murrells Inlet. It was founded in 1931 by Archer and Anna Huntington. Anna Huntington was a sculptor. The work of many other artists are also displayed in the gardens. The private gardens in Beaufort display photos of beautiful camellias. We also have 2 photos of natural scenes in the Beaufort area. The South Carolina Botanical Garden is located on the campus of Clemson University. It began as a camellia garden and now encompasses 295 acres. The main entrance to the garden is the Cadet Plaza with a bell tower. The Cadet Plaza was donated by members of the class of 1942 in honor and memory of their classmates. The garden contains many species of plants native to South Carolina. The orange Oconee azalea is one example.
Sandra Winslet is the Senate of South Atlantic moderator and serves on our board in that position. She loves gardens, as you will see from her presentation of Florida.
Welcome to Florida, the Sunshine State, and to the private garden of Vaughn Hedrick. The yesterday, today, tomorrow tree has gorgeous blooms from vibrant purple to lavender to pristine white, all in 3 days. This stunning 4-year-old home and garden were designed to be indigenous to an historical section of Pensacola, which is in the northwest panhandle of Florida, on Pensacola Bay, and just a few minutes drive from the beautiful emerald green waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plants and trees native to this area grow in the front garden. They include blue-eyed grass, native azaleas, rhododendron, and a French tree. This split cryptomeria baby dragon tree grows vertically as its horizontal arms wrap around for a big hug as the tree climbs upward toward the sky. This is Baptisia. Crinum lilies show off their leaves prior to summer blooms. Bamboo, an important food for the panda, serves as a privacy screen. By the way, there are no pet pandas in this area. An herb garden, a vegetable garden, a new wildflower garden with pastel artwork created with tiles. A Florida orange tree, purple Louisiana irises, complete with a coastal bird. The great blue heron, can you see him hiding there in the irises? Or is he searching for that lizard we just saw earlier? Another beautiful red bottle brush tree. And what else but a fashionable pomegranate tree, already producing tiny little pomegranates. Snowballs in Florida. You can see them in the loveliness of this sweet viburnum tree. Welcome to the private garden that my husband and I have in Pensacola. Though the gates are original to the 1966 built home, the garden has been modified over the years due to hurricanes and tropical storms in this historical section of this old city of Pensacola. Look, listen, and wonder as you experience the beauty of God's world. Sentimental favorites are daylilies and deep red amaryllises, which I gently carried nearly 40 years ago from my mother's Mobile, Alabama garden to transplant in every Pensacola garden we've owned. fountain bubbles happily in the courtyard. Relax and linger. Sip a cool beverage while gently swinging in the courtyard swing. Be sure to wear a garden hat to protect your beautiful and delicate complexion. The perimeter of the grounds surrounding the courtyard are brimming with holly ferns, leatherleaf ferns, and Boston ferns. Majestic Pride of Mobile and coral bell azaleas meander naturally through the pathways in a fashion that calms and soothes the stresses of the day. Full of breathtaking blossoms just days ago, typical spring storms blew through suddenly and changed the blossoms from glorious to gone. Evergreens throughout the garden provide beauty for God's beloved people, as well as habitat for his creatures, who scamper and fly about enthusiastically gathering their fill of nibbles and nest-building materials while loving and raising their young on such delicacies as ornamental blueberries, blossoms of sweet viburnum, wild honeysuckle, mandina berries, and fruit trees. Crinum lilies bloom during and they love the scorching hot southern summers. Tradition has it that they're called cemetery lilies because they were planted near graves of loved ones in the 19th century. Do you have a crinum lily? The green rose, a favorite. A plaque in the garden reads, "The kiss of the sun for pardon, the song of the birds for mirth. One is nearer God's heart in a garden than anywhere else on earth."
Elaine Weigert has served our committee faithfully as the Georgia State Representative. She will now share from the Gardens of Georgia.
The private garden that we are viewing is the garden of the PW moderator at First Cleveland, Linda Lee Walters. The garden is located in Cornelia. Gibbs Garden in Ball Ground, Georgia, was opened to the public in 2012. It is renowned for the 20 million daffodils that bloom each spring. The daffodil photos were taken during the Daffodil Festival in early spring. Gibbs Garden has the largest Japanese garden in the United States. The remainder of the photos were taken during the Japanese Maple Color Festival. Other flowers in bloom are the Kwanzaa cherries, viburnum, tulips, and azaleas. The photos from First in Cleveland were taken last year. It is our tradition to strip the sanctuary on Maundy Thursday and drape the cross in front of the church in black. Last year was a bit different. At that time, we were at the beginning of the lockdown in the pandemic. The first photo is the black draped cross on the evening of Good Friday. The second photo is from the between day when life begins to appear again. The final photo is of the transformed cross on Easter morning. The flowered transformed cross was a symbol of hope for our entire community.
That concludes our garden party. I hope that all of you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed preparing it for you. Thank you for your attendance. Now I want to acknowledge all of the people that contributed to making the photographs of the gardens. Their names are scrolling before you on the screen. But I do truly want to let you know how much we appreciate every one of these people. Many of them you've heard from. Jan Albert is one that you did not hear from. Becky Clark, I think you did not hear her voice. Kay Keeler, Candace Moberly, a number of people who contributed to making all these photographs that were presented to you. We also want to acknowledge the people who contributed the music. Vivaldi's Four Seasons was performed by John Harrison with the University Chamber Players through a YouTube link. We were able to provide you with that music. The other special music was presented and written by Janet Hall O'Neill, who happens to be the sister of contributor Emily Clem. Her song is called Alabama Breeze, and those of us who are from Alabama loved that song. Now I want to remind you that we are here today in support of Mission Haven, 70 years and still going strong. We want you to know that your donations are welcome and can be mailed to the address on the screen, 235 Inman Drive, Decatur, Georgia. Remember, Mission Haven is a strictly volunteer project, and so your donations are welcome at all times. We can use them in so many ways. And now I want to conclude our time with a prayer of dismissal. Let us pray. Good and gracious God, you created the universe and saw that it was good. We come to you during this season of Easter with hearts that are heavy and prayer lists that are long. We see great need all over the world that is known to us, brought about by pandemic, famine, racism, and global warming due to our own failures to care for that creation. So we come to you this day, confessing our own guilt and complicity in what is happening all around us. We seek your forgiveness. We ask your special blessing on Mission Haven, where your servants have rested from their labors all over the world to bring your message of the good news your Son has for all mankind. For 70 years, the women of your church have supported this special place of rest and refreshment for those people who not only preach the good news, but teach others how to grow crops in areas of famine, provide medical care for those without access, build home for adequate shelter, all the while caring for their own children growing up away from immediate family. God be with us as we continue to provide a beacon of your light into this world of darkness. Help us as Presbyterian women throughout the southeastern United States to take up your cross and continue to serve the least of these. We accept the challenge of our privilege and offer back our resources. In the name of the one who continues to labor beside us, we pray. Amen. And now, if you care to continue to listen and watch, we have a short video presentation made by people who actually live at Mission Haven and narrated by the Mish Kids.
And that's Mary and I. My name is Frances, and I'm a Mish kid. My parents are missionaries, and I've practically grown up in Madagascar.
I don't mind what color you are. I don't care about that scar. I like you just the way you are.
The Presbyterian Mission Agency sponsors missionaries, like my parents, in more than 50 countries. Africa, South America, Asia, all around the world, ministering to God's children with better agriculture, clean water, evangelism, healthcare, church planting, and more. Missionaries put their heart and soul, pretty much everything they have, into serving others. So most of us don't have a house back in the U.S. The only American home we've ever known is Mission Haven, and it's a good one. Owned and operated by Presbyterian women in 6 states, Mission Haven is a 501c3 organization with 3 houses and 6 fully furnished apartments next to Columbia Theological Seminary in Decatur, Georgia. When a family comes to Mission Haven, we're greeted with open arms and just about everything we could need. A clothes closet for us and seminary students. Dishes, appliances, linens, toys and books, baby stuff, and easy access to public transportation. Even better, we come back to the same schools and community. We reconnect with friends and renew friendships. Generations of missionaries have called this place home for 65 years. In the past year alone, missionaries from 17 countries have stayed here. They treat us like family, because we are brothers and sisters in Christ. Now I want you to meet some of those brothers and sisters, volunteers who are the lifeblood of Mission Haven. That's Mr. Rick. I think he can fix just about anything. That's Miss Susan, board member, super mom. She keeps the clothes closet stocked. Mr. Julian, he keeps the books and pays the bills on time. And the best resident manager ever, Aunt Glennis. She makes sure everyone has a place to stay and gets us moved in. All of them make $1, do the work of 10. They're just some of the great people we count on to keep Mission Haven going. And we need you too. First and foremost, please pray for mission workers and that God keeps His hand on our families. Please consider putting Mission Haven in your church's budget or send a check. Even with our great volunteers, we need funds to maintain 3 homes and an apartment building and keep the lights on. Help spread the word about Mission Haven on Facebook, Pinterest, your church bulletin. And come see us. We'd love to show you around our home. It's a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Obrigada.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kalome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. Obrigado.
Thank you.
Thank you.